Welcome to Ace My Exams Learning. Let us get started with today's learning.
Question. Give Roman Jakobson 7 elements of language according to which effective verbal communication takes place. Roman Jakobson, a renowned linguist, developed a model of communication that identifies 7 key elements essential for effective verbal communication. These elements help to explain how messages are constructed, transmitted, received, and interpreted. These elements are: 1. Sender. The sender is the individual or entity that initiates the communication. This person formulates the message and transmits it to the receiver. The sender plays a crucial role as they determine the content and intent of the communication. 2. Message. The message refers to the information, ideas, or thoughts that the sender wants to convey. It is the core of the communication process and can take various forms such as spoken words, written text, or visual cues. 3. Receiver. The receiver is the person or group for whom the message is intended. They decode the message, interpreting its meaning based on their understanding of the content and context. The success of communication largely depends on how well the receiver grasps the message. 4. Feedback. Feedback is the response from the receiver back to the sender. It confirms whether the message was understood as intended and allows for clarification if necessary. Feedback completes the communication loop and is essential for effective dialogue. 5. Medium or channel. The medium or channel is the means through which the message is transmitted. It can include verbal communication like speech, written forms like emails or letters, and even digital platforms such as video calls or social media. 6. Code. Code refers to the system of symbols, signs, or language used to construct the message. This includes words, grammar, and other linguistic elements, as well as nonverbal cues like gestures and facial expressions. The sender and receiver must both understand the code for communication to be effective. 7. Barriers and noise interference. Barriers or noise refer to any disruptions that may hinder the transmission or interpretation of the message. These can include physical noise, language differences, misunderstandings, or technological glitches, all of which can affect how the message is received. Question. List the effects of poor communication. Effective communication is vital for the success of any organization, as it ensures clarity, direction, and a positive work environment. However, poor communication can have the following detrimental effects that impact both internal operations and external relationships. 1. Dissatisfied clients. Poor communication often leads to misunderstandings or unmet expectations, leaving clients feeling frustrated or unhappy with the services or products they receive. This dissatisfaction can result in a loss of trust and repeat business. 2. Unhappy employees. When communication within the workplace is unclear or lacking, employees may experience confusion, feel undervalued, or struggle with a lack of direction. This can result in disengagement, low morale, and increased turnover. 3. Low productivity. Miscommunication leads to errors, delays, and inefficiencies in tasks. Employees may duplicate efforts or work on incorrect assignments, reducing overall productivity and hampering organizational effectiveness. 4. Poor service. Ineffective communication between employees and clients often results in poor customer service. Employees may not fully understand the client's needs or fail to provide adequate solutions, leading to unsatisfactory customer experiences. 5. Decrease in profits. When communication fails, companies may experience financial losses. Poor service and dissatisfied clients can lead to a decline in sales and revenue, while reduced productivity increases operational costs, directly affecting profitability. 6. Bad public image. Communication failures can tarnish an organization's reputation, leading to negative public perception. Bad reviews, poor customer relations, and a damaged image can harm long-term growth and public relations efforts. Question. Tabulate the 4 zones that are used in communication and include the distance that is maintained in each zone. The 4 zones and their distance as used in communication are: 1. Intimate. A distance of up to half a meter is maintained in this zone. For example, a parent hugging their child for warmth and affection, or whispering to a partner in a private conversation. 2. Personal. In the personal zone, a distance of between half to 1.5 meters is maintained. For example, friends talking at a social gathering or colleagues having a casual discussion at work. 3. Social. A distance of 1 to 2 meters is maintained. For instance, a business meeting where participants maintain a professional distance. 4. Public. A distance of more than 2 to 3 meters is maintained. For instance, a speaker addressing a crowd during a public presentation or event. Question. There are 3 different categories of communication. Write a short paragraph explaining the difference in definition between intrapersonal and interpersonal communication and provide an example of each. Intrapersonal communication occurs within an individual, such as when someone reflects on their thoughts or talks to themselves. For example, when a person writes down their thoughts in a journal. Interpersonal communication, on the other hand, happens between 2 or more people. An example of this would be a conversation between 2 friends discussing their weekend plans. Question. During interpersonal communication, the direction or the flow of communication plays an important role. Which direction will ensure effective communication in each case below? 1. The new cashier at the pizza shop discusses her transport problems with a colleague who is also a cashier. In this case, horizontal communication ensures effective communication because it involves 2 colleagues on the same level discussing an issue. 2. The owner of the pizza shop notifies the chef of a shift via SMS. Here, vertical downward communication is most effective, as it involves the owner, a superior, passing information down to a subordinate, the chef. Question. Color is a very specific form of nonverbal communication. The owner of the pizza shop decided to use a lot of red and yellow in his shop. Why would he choose these colors? The owner likely chose red and yellow because red symbolizes passion, power, and action, which attracts attention, while yellow represents warmth, happiness, and friendliness, making the shop more inviting to customers. Question. Effective listening skills are extremely important in any industry, but even more so in the hospitality industry, where everything is focused on customer service. Give the 3 different types of listening. The 3 types of listening are: 1. Attentive listening. 2. Appreciative listening. 3. Critical or analytical listening. Question. Discuss basic effective listening skills with specific reference to posture, face, and voice. Effective listening involves: 1. Posture. Maintaining an open and engaged posture is essential for effective listening. This involves facing the speaker directly, leaning slightly forward to show interest, and keeping your arms uncrossed. Such a posture signals attentiveness and openness, creating a welcoming environment for the speaker to express themselves. It shows that the listener is not only hearing the words, but is fully engaged in the conversation. 2. Facial. Facial expressions play a vital role in conveying active listening. A calm and neutral facial expression, which subtly reflects the speaker's emotions, can help create an atmosphere of empathy and understanding. Avoid exaggerated expressions, as they can seem disingenuous or distracting. Instead, allowing your face to naturally mirror the tone of the conversation shows that you are emotionally connected to what the speaker is saying. 3. Voice. Voice cues are another important component of effective listening. Offering subtle verbal responses such as yes, I see, or really demonstrates that the listener is following along and processing the information. These cues encourage the speaker to continue without feeling rushed or interrupted. It's important, however, to avoid interrupting or finishing the speaker's sentences, as doing so can disrupt the flow of communication and signal a lack of patience or attentiveness. Question. Indicate whether the following nonverbal communication is in conflict with or in support of the verbal communication in each scenario. 1. Sitting on your colleague's lap. This nonverbal action conflicts with verbal communication in most professional settings, as it may convey inappropriate intimacy or disregard for personal space, which might not align with typical work communication norms. 2. Hugging someone when they shout at you. This nonverbal action conflicts with the verbal communication of anger or frustration, shouting. Hugging conveys comfort or affection, creating a contradictory message. 3. Slouching while saying that you are excited. This nonverbal action conflicts with the verbal communication. Slouching usually indicates disinterest or fatigue, which contradicts the verbal expression of excitement. Question. Name 2 factors that have an influence on mass communication. 1. Uncertain reception. Uncertain reception refers to the unpredictability or variability in how messages are received and interpreted by different audiences. This can be influenced by several factors such as the audience's prior knowledge, interests, cultural background, and personal experiences. Because mass communication targets a broad and diverse audience, the reception of the message can vary significantly. For instance, a television advertisement might be understood differently by viewers from different age groups or cultural backgrounds, leading to varying responses and effectiveness of the message. 2. Quality of the medium. The quality of the medium refers to the effectiveness and clarity of the communication channel used to deliver the message. High-quality mediums enhance the likelihood that the message will be received and understood as intended. Factors affecting the quality of the medium include the technical reliability, e.g., clear video and audio in broadcasts, the accessibility of the medium to the intended audience, and the appropriateness of the medium for the message content. For example, a well-produced TV commercial with high-definition visuals and clear sound is more likely to capture the audience's attention and convey the intended message effectively compared to a poorly produced one. Question. Sheldon is the co-owner of a company. He buys a newspaper and reads it on the train. His competitors have placed an advert showing that they are selling the same product as his company at a 50% discount. His first reaction is shock. Identify each of the following in the given scenario. 1. Sender. The sender is the entity that creates and sends the message. In this case, the competitors are the ones who place the advertisement. 2. Receiver. The receiver is the individual or group who receives and interprets the message. Sheldon, as the co-owner of the company, is the one reading the advertisement. Message. The message is the content or information conveyed through the communication. Here, the message is the offer of a 50% discount on the product. 4. Code. The code is the system of symbols or language used to encode the message. In this scenario, the message is written in English. 5. Channel. The channel is the medium through which the message is transmitted. In this case, the message is delivered through an advertisement in a newspaper. 6. Feedback. Feedback is the response or reaction from the receiver to the message. Sheldon's reaction of shock is his feedback to the information he received. Question. Indicate whether each of the following situations is exemplary of effective communication or ineffective communication. Give a suggestion to improve each situation characterized by ineffective communication. 1. The campus manager scolds a lecturer in front of students for filling in the record sheet incorrectly. This is ineffective communication. Scolding someone in front of others can be humiliating and counterproductive. It can damage relationships and decrease morale. Suggestion for improvement. The campus manager should address the issue privately with the lecturer to correct the mistake without causing embarrassment or discomfort. This approach fosters a more respectful and supportive environment. 2. A salesperson receives an email from a potential customer in another country. It is in English, but uses unfamiliar words and phrases. The salesperson does not make much sense of the message and decides to ignore it. This is ineffective communication. Ignoring a message can result in lost opportunities and misunderstandings. Proper communication involves addressing and clarifying issues. Suggestion for improvement. The salesperson should send a return email to the customer asking for clarification on the unfamiliar terms or phrases. Alternatively, they could consult a supervisor or colleague for assistance in understanding the message. 3. The college is going to offer a new course in 2 months' time. The HOD invites all staff to a meeting to explain the change and discuss how it will be done. This communication is effective. The HOD's approach is effective as it involves direct communication with staff, providing the opportunity for explanation and discussion, which helps ensure that everyone is informed and has the chance to ask questions. Question: which category of communication is involved in each of the following scenarios? 1. The campus manager notifies all lecturers of an important decision via SMS. This scenario involves mass communication because the message is sent to a large group, all lecturers, using a broad communication channel, SMS. 2. A new intern discusses her relationship problems with a colleague. This scenario involves interpersonal communication, as it involves a one-on-one conversation between two individuals sharing personal concerns. Question: how can the sender of a mass communication message find out whether the delivered message was effective? To determine whether a mass communication message was effective, the sender can rely on the following indicators to assess its effectiveness. 1. The message reaches the intended audience. Ensuring that the message has been successfully delivered to the target audience is the first step in evaluating its effectiveness. For example, if a public health campaign about flu prevention is broadcast on television, reaching the desired demographic of families or groups indicates the message is on the right track. 2. The message has the desired effect. The sender should measure if the message influenced the audience as intended. For instance, if a charity organization sends out an appeal for donations, an increase in donations shows that the message had the desired impact. 3. The recipients respond. Engagement from the audience, such as comments on social media, participation in discussions, or filling out feedback forms, indicates that the message was understood and prompted a response. For example, a company launching a new product might track social media mentions to see how people are reacting to the announcement. 4. The recipients provide positive feedback. Receiving positive feedback, either directly or through surveys, reviews, or public reactions, shows that the message resonated well with the audience. For instance, after a webinar on environmental sustainability, participants might provide favorable reviews, signaling that the content was effective and informative. 5. The recipients change their behavior. Behavioral changes among the audience demonstrate the ultimate success of the communication. For example, after a government campaign on road safety, a reduction in speeding violations would indicate that the message led to a meaningful change in behavior. 6. The recipients spread the message. When the audience begins sharing the message with others, it suggests that they found the information valuable and are helping to amplify its reach. For instance, if a social media post goes viral, with many people sharing it, this shows that the message was impactful and resonated with a wider audience. 7. Changes at the policy level occur. In cases where mass communication aims to influence larger societal or policy changes, success may be reflected in shifts in legislation or public policies. For example, a public advocacy campaign on environmental conservation could eventually lead to the introduction of new government regulations to protect endangered species. Question: Penny is tired and pressed for time. She keeps on saying and okay while listening to the last client for the day. What is this type of communication called? The repeated use of and okay while listening is an example of filler sounds. These are verbal elements used to fill gaps in conversation and indicate that the listener is paying attention, though they can sometimes signal impatience or distraction. Question: do you think this noise is affecting the communication and why? Yes, the sounds might make Penny seem impatient, and the client might experience the conversation negatively. Filler sounds can convey a lack of interest or attentiveness, potentially affecting the client's perception of the conversation.
To access more learning and exam preparation materials, go to www.acemyexams.coza. This link is also in the video description below. Thank you for watching this video. Remember to subscribe and be the first to know when we upload new videos.